The show designer and lighting designer is Ealy, who worked with them in the 80s and 90s. So this is it's not a recycled concept, but it's similar to what they had 30 years ago, but brought into the new era. I don't know what the show necessarily was then, but this one here is pretty precise, pretty crisp. They do a 3.5-hour show. It's about 3,500 button pushes, so pretty specific to every song. You know, some of the songs are rock songs, fast moving, some of them are ballads, so depending on where that song falls in the set, you just got to be on game. Yeah, no time code on this one, so there's 42 songs in that show, and programmed in the show. We know where we're doing 30, the other 12, they'll throw 6 in here and there throughout other shows, and then rarely they'll pull in the other 6. And then there's, of course, a punt page, just in case they do something that they decide that we've never known. I actually have in-ears from the stage, the talk back from Axel and the guys, so if they're calling out new songs or changing the set list that we get, we will know of at least a few seconds before the downbeat. There's 32 Roby BMFL spots. Do a lot of the texture. It's a very reliable light. Get the same thing out of it every day, and you hit the cues, you know the thing's going to come up right. There's 75 Roby BMFL wash beams. They're basically the workhorses of the show. Being able to create and fill, you know, a huge stadium space that we do have to fill and create all the different looks for the various songs. There's 42 songs programmed in that console, so being able to create different looks and keeping it feeling different all the time, they give you the opportunity for that. There's 3 Roby BMFL blades. Those are used as key light on the 2 keyboardists and the drummer. The framing shutters are right on there, but then again, you get all the colors and the gobos from a spot to keep consistency throughout the show. Also in the air, there are the 9 pods of GLP Impression X4s. If you look at the pods, there's 19 fixtures in each one, so if you actually look at the face of one GLP X4, there's 19 LED fixtures, so Phil has replicated basically a mega X4 up there. So the 171 of those create the looks that you see, the way he's designed it, and in the pods the way they are, in the groups, and also as with the rake, different colors and patterns and stuff as well throughout the show. On the pods, also in the upstage truss, there's Martin Atomic LED strobes. There's 27 on the pods and 8 more in the upstage truss, and the Torm is 6 more. And then there's 6 more on the floor as well. Again, in the outdoor environment, especially when the sun's setting on the stage, it's something that'll really cut through. They're used, you know, as accent hits and the background macros for those fixtures. They do read, even though it's light out and will be day for most of the set, you'll actually be able to see that. There's 30 WW4 moles. There's another 30 DTW 700 moles as well for their IP rating for the rain. Luckily, we haven't had any rain on this tour, so please don't get me in trouble with that. But, you know, the mole hits back to the old time, you know, Parcan days and moles and stuff. It makes it feel really big. But with the LED moles as well, they don't take as much power. Rig like this, like AC/DC, where I have a bunch of conventional moles, I would need a lot more services and a lot more cable to be able to get the same effect. And with the single cell, you actually get more effect, different chases, and you can actually strobe them, and it looks pretty cool. On the floor, there are 18 GLP X4 bar 10s that actually ring the stage around there. That is mostly backlight on the band riser there and stuff. So when you're taking pictures and everybody's close up and you see it on the screens and stuff, it actually something that comes through that frames them nicely. On the floor, there's also 9 Martin Viper Wash FX, 5 on the set, 4 on the floor coming across. Nice good fans coming up. You got to fill some space in between because the video screen takes up a whole lot of space in between all that. So when you actually get haze, it actually makes nice patterns and stuff like that. And then the ones on the floor are good side light and chin kickers again for video. So actually we've done this for video as well. The spotlights are all dim for video or balanced for video. So that works out. And then there's 10 Roby pointies that ring the set as well. And again, looks really good for the effects. You get the gobos in there with the nice wash. Roby is definitely one of the fixtures of my preference, just from a crew chief standpoint of reliability, as well as, you know, the output. I know that, you know, they don't make a really great red, but everything else I think is fantastic. The impression, you know, GLP's line, they've been spot on as well. You know, touring around the world, minimal problems, so it's great. I've been using MA since the MA1, since 04, the end of 03, I want to think, when we were programming Win Las Vegas. Once you get to know it, I think it's really, really user-friendly. There's multiple ways to do things. Again, knock on wood, very reliable product. It just is there. It works. You don't have to think about it. You turn it on, and you run your show. 2 full-size MA2s. One uses the main one that runs all the cue stacks. The backup one I also use to control the actual 3 key lights and the truss spots. If they get out of range, I can fade them out or adjust their intensities depending on if it's a festival or things like that. Real quick, there's got 42 songs to choose from in here. A couple of macros up on top that you use sometimes or whatever. Then obviously your cue list is over here that you have to see. I got some notes in there as opposed to other accent hits. This window, I just got a couple of different things in here if I need to grab something real quick during the show, if I need to reset something or maybe update a focus or something like that. That's it's nice to have that window over here. Hopefully I never use it very much, but it's there. And then a couple of macro sequences in here. I'll use these bottom buttons for the show, again, for accent hits and things like that. The top row here is more for programming than anything. Took a little while to learn. The 80s and 90s Appetite for Destruction and GNR Lies and You Lose Your Illusions. I listened to those. Didn't listen to so much stuff after that, so I had to learn that new music. But Rob was really patient with me and taught me his style and how he programmed as well as what those songs were and what I needed to look for in them. Here I am.